and we can have a guessing game, all right? We're going to start recording after this guessing game. This is September the 29th, 2020, for the ELT125 section 3, one of the best sections, right? Section 3. Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, and one in which there are, I think, the most attendees. I have probably 19 attendees, and the other ones I have very few attendees, believe it or not. Let me find, because I really wanted to share a presentation with you that has to do with sonority hierarchy and the maximal onset principle. Sonority and okay, found it. Okay, before we move on, I need to be very clear that you understand these two concepts. The sonority theory or sonority hierarchy theory and the maximal onset principle. Do you understand these concepts? Is that a yes, no?
I don't know nothing about that, teacher.
Never heard it before.
Okay, nothing at all. All right. So let's take a look at them. Okay, we're going to take a look at these concepts, and they are pretty simple. I am going to make them very simple because you can always find these concepts in books, and I think that they are a bit complex. All right, so excuse me.
Professor,
Yes, sir.
your screenshot is very strange. It's very rare. Because it's small.
Yes. You mean the fonts in this slide?
I didn't understand.
You mean the fonts, the written words on the slide?
Right.
Yeah, let me change that in the next slides. But let's take a look at the first one, which is called the sonority theory, also called sonority hierarchy theory. Okay, let's think about this sonority theory as a theory that tries to explain how syllables are divided in English. You might think, how come if syllables can be divided very easily in Spanish? In which way?
Professor,
Yes, sir?
excuse me. I think you did understand me. Your principal screenshot is small.
Got you. All right. Okay, let me. There, right? No. Let me start sharing again. And there. How about that?
Perfect.
Thank you so much for the feedback. Thank you very much for the feedback once again. All right, Willie. This sonority scale, this sonority theory tries to explain how syllables are divided in English, right? And according to this sonority theory, there is a sonority scale that can be used in order to define which sounds are more sonorant than others or sonorous. This is the sonority scale, and this sonority scale assigns a sonority value to phonemes or sounds. Okay, it goes from 1 through 5. So number 5 is the most sonorous or the loudest sounds. In this case, phonemes, because of vowel sounds, sorry. Vowel sounds are always the nucleus of a syllable, right? Because they are the loudest elements in the syllable. Okay, and so this sonority scale assigns a number 5 to these elements. Okay. Next on the scale, there is the liquids, U and This liquids are assigned a number 4 in terms of how audible or how sonorous they are. Okay. Now, in this scale, a number 3 is assigned to the nasals. Okay. Nasals are assigned a number 3 according to this scale as less sonorous than the liquids and less sonorous than the vowel sound, right? According to this scale, a number 2 is assigned to fricatives. Fricatives, as they are less sonorous, less audible, right? Less loud, to say in a different way, the nasals, the liquids, and the vowel sounds. And at the end of this scale, just a number 1 is assigned to the stops or plosives, being these ones the less audible or the less loud phonemes of all. So what's the matter? What should I care about this theory? Well, this theory tries to explain how syllables are arranged. So if I have the nucleus, right, a vowel sound, what's going to be placed, according to this theory, again, next to this vowel sound, and I have, for example, let's suppose that I have a fricative and I have a liquid, which is going to be placed closer to the nucleus in the onset. Let's suppose that this is a syllable, okay? This is a syllable. I have the nucleus here, rated according to this scale with number 5 as the loudest element, And if I have to place a consonant sound, I'm going to place closer the liquid, and then I'm going to place the fricative consonant sound. According to this theory, the liquid consonant sounds are louder than the fricative consonant sounds. Okay, it's like, and I think I mentioned this in another class, in a different section, sorry. I thought about like you taking a picture. You have a party, a birthday party, and you want to take a picture with your friends, right? And your friends are, and you are the vowel, right? You are the birthday boy, the birthday girl. And your friends are the liquids, the nasals, the fricatives, and the stops. The ones that are going to be closer to you in the picture are the liquids. A little bit farther away from you in the picture, you're going to place all your nasal friends. And then the fricatives, and at the end of the picture, right there, very far away from you, the stops. This is how syllables are arranged according to this sonority theory. Okay, so if you have, for example, a stop and a liquid, the liquid will go closer to the nucleus and then the stop, not the other way around. Okay, so this theory tries to explain this, the way that syllables are arranged, so it helps us to divide the syllables accordingly. Okay, let's see how this sonority theory connects with the maximal onset principle. Okay, but so far, what I want you to have in mind is that the sonority theory deals with how loud sounds or phonemes are, and the specific arrangement, the order, the organization that these sounds or phonemes have in a syllable. Okay, that's why this theory has this sonority scale, assigning a specific value to each one of the phonemes. Okay, that's what this theory deals with, and as a theory, it does not account for 100% of the cases. It doesn't explain every single rule about syllabification or how we divide syllables in English. Okay, it's a theory, a good theory, but not a perfect one. The maximum onset principle, right? The maximum onset principle also tries to explain how we should divide the consonant sounds, particularly when you have a vowel sound, you have another vowel sound, and in the middle, you have a consonant sound. And the idea is, so where should I place this consonant sound, this next to a? So I have like al as one syllable. You know, we cannot have these two vowel sounds in the same syllable because one vowel sound is the nucleus of a different syllable, right? Or we can place next to e, right? So in the first case, if I decide it's al, the becomes the coda of the syllable, right? The coda, the consonant sounds that come after the nucleus. And if I decide that the syllable should be le, the becomes the onset of the syllable le, right? Okay, so again, this is maximum onset principle is a theory that's trying to explain that whenever possible, this or this consonant sound in between two vowel sounds should be placed as the onset of a syllable, should be placed next to le, and not next to the nucleus as the coda, as al. So this case, according to the maximum onset principle, is what should happen whenever we have an intervocalic consonant sound. That is, a consonant sound in the middle of two vowel sounds, and we have to make this division of syllables or syllabification, which is the other name when we're dividing syllables, right? So let's see this in an example, because this is we need to place the consonant sound as the onset as a syllable whenever there's no violation of the sonority hierarchy, the sonority theory, right? Let's see this in an example.
Teacher,
yes, sir?
Before you move, can you please go back to the principal slide?
Yes.
The other one. The other one.
The sonority theory
right
slide?
Yes.
Okay. No problem.
Okay. Thank you. And
sure.
Another thing, teacher, is like I hear you a little bit low. I don't know if the problem is just with me, or I don't know. I can't hear you very well, but I hear you, but very low.
Julian,
What?
I think it's just the problem is yours.
Okay.
Yeah, the problem is only yours.
Okay.
Sorry, man.
Just continue, teacher. I'm sorry for interrupt you about that.
No, not really. Don't be sorry. But I had the cell phone in another room charging, so I thought that could have been the explanation for the problem, for the technical issue. All right. So I went to get the cell phone anyway.
Okay.
So okay. Hopefully. Alrighty. So so far, did you get the information what you wanted to get from the slide? Yes. Can I move on? 3.
Yes, teacher. Thank you so
2.
much.
All right.
Yes.
No problem. Alrighty.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's take a look at this example. In this slide, we have the word extra. And the word extra can be syllabified. Syllabified means divided into syllables, right? As what we have here, extra, or it could be extra. extra or extra. Okay. Now, according to this theory, and according to the distribution of sounds, do you think that I'm looking at the third example, okay, right here. Do you think that the combination of consonant sounds k, s, and t is allowed in English? Do you think we can have this?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Exactly. I don't think so either. Now, I'm looking at the second one. Do you think the cluster k is something that could be found in English? K's, 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 exactly. I don't think so. K's. Now, do you think that we can find the syllable, or the consonant sound k next to e? Can we say like ek?
Ek.
Ek,
Yes.
and no big deal? Yes? Okay. Do you think we can get s, t, and in one syllable? Like stra, like stranger, strong, street.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right? So there's a highest probability of finding these three consonant sound, this cluster of consonant sounds together, right? Instead of this one and this set of consonant sounds. So I would strongly suggest that this is the correct way of syllabifying the word extra. To leave.
Teacher?
Yes, ma'am?
When we are doing this kind of exercise, trying to identify the correct word, we should try to pronounce them and think about if the sound is familiar.
Yes, that would be a good strategy because whenever you are not sure about the theory, a good way or a good strategy is to make some comparative analysis to compare what you have with what you know, with words that you are familiar with. For example, when we're dealing with the second syllable in the first example of extra here, I asked you to compare this stir with words that you knew, like strong, street, straight, strike. So you were making association with what you know. So in that way, I think it's easier if you're not sure that the possible combination is allowed or not allowed in English in this case. So yes, it's a good way to pronounce and try to find examples of other words containing the same cluster of consonant sounds. Let's take a look at the next slide to see if we can clarify this. For example, we have the word destruction. Destruction. And let's suppose that I ask you to syllabify this word, to separate it into syllables. How many syllables do you think there are in destruction?
3.
3.
3. Okay. Now, remember that we use these small dots to divide the syllables. So where will you place the first one? In D, dis, or dist? What do you think you would place this, like right here, right there, or right there, or right here, or right here?
Between S and T.
Okay.
I think it's between S and T. Okay, right there. And where will you place the other syllable boundary? The other syllable boundary?
Between K and sh.
Okay, between k and sh. All right, between k and sh. Are you all sure about this?
I think another option too.
Okay.
D dot struck dot shown.
Yes, I think that too.
What do you think that's possible?
I think that the separation is in D and dot and struck
right.
and then shown.
Shown, right.
All right. So we would have a different way of syllabification here. Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, I forgot the name. Primary stress, I think, is in the middle. I think, I'm not sure. Distraction.
Okay.
Right.
Right there, destruction. Yes? All right. That's the syllabification for the word. Good. Good. The thing is, we can attach to the first syllable. But according to the maximum onset principle, you have this consonant sound that could be part of the first syllable or the second syllable. Now, the idea for this principle is if you can attach it as the onset of this syllable, the second syllable, attach it as the onset and not as the coda, like in this case, the coda of the first syllable. Okay? Provided you're not violating any phonotactical rule. Phonotactical rule. A phonotactical rule is a rule that has to do with, the possible combination of sounds in English. For example, it's not probable that you can find this combination in English for a syllable, right? In the onset or in the coda. I mean, you will never find pull in a syllable. So this is not allowed according to the phonotactics rules of English. So when we place next to t and we're not violating any rule, right? That combination is possible. And how can we prove that? Street, strange, strike, strong, etc., right? So stir, it's an allowed combination of consonant sounds. It's an allowed cluster of consonant sounds. What do you think enormous? Enormous. How can we syllabify this word?
How many syllables?
Okay. How many syllables?
Okay, I think 3 syllables.
Okay, 3 syllables. So we have the pigs right there, right? Remember that the spelling is not the same as the sounds, right? The phonemes. In the case of OU, it's only one schwa. It's one vowel sound, by the way. Okay, so what's the first syllable? Is it E or in?
I think that it's E.
Okay. And then?
Really helped me.
I think could be in or move.
What was the question, teacher?
We're syllabifying this word. We're dividing this word into syllables, right? Syllabifying the word. So some say E is the first syllable. In is the first one. That's something you need to decide. Nor could be the second one. Or no.
What
do you think?
I think that is E, nor, the second one, and must, the third syllable.
So come again. E, nor, like that?
Yeah.
And then
Must.
must.
Yes.
Do you all agree, dear participants? I mean, is there a chance that we can move this to the third syllable? Can we have a combination like must? Do you think
It sounds strange.
It does, right? It
Yes.
does sound strange to have in English. Yeah. So are you happy with this? Enormous. Let's take a look. Enormous. That's right. Enormous. There's no dot here separating because the primary stress is supposed to be before the syllable, before the stress syllable. So before the stress syllable, the second one.
It's not need a dot.
Exactly, it's not needed. Excellent, it's not needed. Yes, exactly.
Teacher, that is confusing to me. Can you explain that again a little bit slow? The primary stress and the dot, makes me feel confused.
Right. You say that this syllable has this word has 3 syllables, and that can be syllabified or separated, right, into e, nor, mus. So
Yes.
in between the syllable 2 and syllable 3, we have a dot, right? Some
Yes.
dictionaries, yes, use a dot at the bottom here. Other dictionaries have a dot here in the middle. And in the boundary of the syllable, or the first syllable and the second syllable, we should place like a dot in general, right? But it's not necessary because we have the primary stress. And the primary stress is telling us that the second syllable is the one carrying the stress, bearing the stress. So if this is the stress syllable, then there is another syllable before. So this is not necessary. For example, let's suppose that we have the word Carlos. This is grammar. This has nothing to do with phonetics or phonology. But anyway, I think will help us to understand this concept. Whenever we say, for example, that something belongs to someone, we use this apostrophe S. For example, Mike's house. Mike's house. How do we know that this house belongs to Mike? Because of the genitive here. The genitive is the apostrophe and the S, right? Now, when we want to say that the house belongs to Carlos, what we do is we place only this thing, this apostrophe. Okay? I mean, we could place the apostrophe and the S, just like after Mike, we have Mike's, and here Carlos, Carlos's, right? But it's not necessary to place the S, because this noun ends already in an S. So in general, this is not necessary, and the only thing that you need to place here is this apostrophe. Carlos's house, and you assume that there is a genitive here. This thing called genitive, apostrophe, is kind of assumed when we have a noun that ends in an s, in a sibilant sound. In a sibilant sound. So in this, going back to phonetics and phonology, if you are marking the second syllable as having the primary stress, nor, that it's already saying that the stress is carried by the second syllable. So if there is another syllable before, you don't need to, this is optional. It's optional to place the dot here. It's not necessary, actually, it's optional. So,
A ver, lo voy a decir en español, porque no sé si lo entendí como me lo está explicando.
en español.
Entonces, no es necesario poner el punto cuando está separada una sílaba de otra si tiene el primary stress, ¿cierto? Es
Exacto.
opcional, no es necesario.
No es necesario, porque ya al colocar el primary stress, este símbolo me indica que esta sílaba es la que está acentuada o la que lleva el énfasis o es la más prominente. Y si hay una sílaba anterior y es una sola, no es necesario que yo indique que, digamos, la separación a través de este punto que puede estar abajo o aquí al medio. No es necesario, es opcional.
Sería
quita ni-
redundante.
Por
Exacto.
ejemplo, lo que
Sería
me pasaba con la palabra, a ver, ability,
Ajá.
ya, eso tiene four syllables.
Ujú.
Y se acentúa en la segunda sílaba, el stress, ability.
Yes.
Y A es, o sea, la transcripción es la schwa, creo. Y el primary stress, y después viene la segunda sílaba, y ahí no tiene el puntito, pero ahí sí se separa y no es necesario poner el puntito, ¿cierto?
Exacto. No es necesario poner la división o lo que se le llama, a ese
El
puntito
puntito.
se le llama syllable boundary. Syllable boundary. Y no es necesario, puesto que al estar marcado el primary stress, se entiende que la anterior es una sílaba. Es opcional, si quiere lo pone, si no quiere no lo pone, no quita ni no agrega mucho, sí. I'm typing this syllable boundary in the chat box, all right?
All right.
Syllable boundary. Así llamamos a ese puntito que usamos para separar las sílabas. Si lo quiere usar, úselo, pero es gastar tiempo, ¿no? I mean, why? What's the point? Okay.
Ya, profe, gracias. Me resolvió una duda existencial que tenía. Muchas gracias.
Okay. Now you can move on with your life.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. And then we have the word excellent. Let me get this out of the way. Please, all questions are welcome. All right. If I'm smiling or if I'm laughing, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. All right. That's something I heard. Someone told me that. So I found it clever. Excellent. Excellent. Let's focus on this, only on this section, because I think that's the most interesting one of this example. Excellent. We have an L, in between two vowel sounds, right? So let's see if this maximum onset principle can be applied and it actually works, right? Because it's, a theory, and a theory that, as I said before, doesn't explain 100% of the cases. There are always exceptions. So let me show you the transcription, right? Is the maximum onset principle applied here, and does it make sense?
Yes, right.
Yeah, it does, right? Because we have O, we can say, okay, let's just put O in the second syllable. So, and then, the last syllable should be unt. Why not? Now, according to this maximum onset theory, O should be placed as the onset, as it is right here, as the onset of the syllable. Remember, the onset is all the consonant sounds that go before the nucleus or peak, right? Should be placed here as the onset instead of the coda whenever possible. Whenever possible. Okay, so I think lunt is allowed. It's not, I mean, you can find words starting with lun. So this is an allowed combination here, lunt.
Okay, so that's the idea with this maximum onset principle. Now let's test, and let me double check the time because it's 5:35. We started at. Would you like to have a break before this exercise, or do the exercise and then have a break? Good question, right? Because if you're not concentrated and focused, probably you take the break and then come back with a new and refreshed set of mind. And if you're tired, I would rather have the break now and then risk that the number of attendees is less. I don't know. Are you coming back after the break?
Probably.
I mean, yeah?
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so let's have
Teacher, are you
yes.
going to upload the class?
Yeah, as usual. At the end of the session, I download the class.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I upload it to the YouTube channel.
Okay, that would be great because today, I don't know, I didn't understand anything. My internet connection is terrible. And as I said, and as I told you, I couldn't hear you very well. This is because my silent. I didn't say anything. I didn't participate in nothing. This.
I'm so, yeah.
So I
I'm
will
sorry.
have to watch class again.
Yeah, watch the recorded session again, and if you have questions, do not hesitate to contact me. All right, I totally understand. Remember that last session, I really had technical issues with the internet connection. So yeah, I do understand what you're going through. So watch the recorded session and let me know if you have questions. All right. It's 5:40 according to my watch. Let's meet at 5:50, okay? And we continue with this exercise and see if we can understand this syllabification process. We're dealing
Yes,
with
sir.
the syllable. Yeah, we're still dealing with the syllable today. We're not dealing with the syllable later, okay? So this is probably the last class that we are talking about this boring stuff, all right? So I'll see you after the break.
Okay.
See you.